Assalamu alaikum. This is Sulika Molika Das welcoming you all to news at 5 p.m. on BTV and BTV World. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has distributed the Ekushe Padok 2023 to 19 eminent persons and 2 organizations for outstanding contributions to different fields in the country. She handed over the Ekushe Padok, the second highest civilian award in Bangladesh, at a ceremony at Osmani Memorial Auditorium in Dhaka this morning. The award is given to individuals and organizations in recognition of contributions to a number of fields, including the war of liberation, literature, music, education, journalism, poverty reduction, research, and visual arts. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said Father of the Nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was imprisoned repeatedly for wagging language movement, though efforts were made to downplay his role in that historic episode. The Prime Minister said Joy Bangla slogan, which inspired the freedom fighters to make supreme sacrifice, and the historic March 7th speech were banned after the assassination of Father of the Nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in 1975. Sheikh Hasina said actually attempts were made to eradicate Bangabandhu's name from the history. Not only that, his contribution to the language movement was tried to be erased.
মুক্তিযোদ্ধারা বুকে রক্ত ঢেলে দিয়েছে জয় বাংলা স্লোগান সেটা নিষিদ্ধ। ৭ই মার্চের ভাষণ, যে ভাষণের গেরিলা যুদ্ধের সমস্ত নির্দেশনা এই একটা ভাষণেই এবং এই নির্দেশেই কিন্তু যার যা কিছু আছে তাই নিয়ে শত্রু মোকাবেলা করে আমাদের স্বাধীনতা এনে দিয়েছে, সেই ভাষণটাও নিষিদ্ধ। আসলে বঙ্গবন্ধুর নামই তো মুছে ফেলা হয়েছিল। শুধু এখান থেকে না, ভাষা আন্দোলনে যে তার অবদান, সে অবদানটুকুও কিন্তু মুছে ফেলা হয়েছিল। এই ভাষা আন্দোলন করতে যেয়েই তো উনি কারাগারে, তো সেই গুরুত্বটা কিন্তু কেউ দিতে চায়নি। ইতিহাস থেকে মুছে ফেলার একটা প্রবণতা সবসময় ছিল। যা আওয়ামী লীগ সরকার আসার পর থেকেই আমরা চেষ্টা করেছি আমাদের ভাষা, সাহিত্য, সংস্কৃতি যেন সুন্দরভাবে বিকশিত হয়। আমি আশা করি যে আমাদের নতুন প্রজন্ম এভাবে সমাজের বিভিন্ন ক্ষেত্রে অবদান রাখবে, কারণ গুণীজনদের পদাঙ্ক অনুসরণ করেই আমাদের দেশকে ভবিষ্যতের দিকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যেতে হবে। আমরা আমাদের ইতিহাস থেকে শিক্ষা নেব, কিন্তু আধুনিক বিশ্বের সাথে, আধুনিক প্রযুক্তির সাথে তাল মিলিয়ে বাংলাদেশকে আমরা এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাব। শিক্ষা দীক্ষা, সাহিত্য চর্চা, সংস্কৃতি, সেই সাথে সাথে বিজ্ঞান, প্রযুক্তি, সব দিক থেকে বাঙালি জাতি বিশ্বে মাথা উঁচু করেই চলবে, সেটাই আমি আশা করি।
State Minister for Cultural Affairs K.M. Khalid chaired the function. Cabinet Secretary Muhammad Mahbub Hussain conducted the ceremony and read out the citations of the recipient. Secretary of the Cultural Affairs Ministry Muhammad Abul Mansoor delivered the welcome address. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said her government has continued its effort to implement the SDGs, overcoming the challenges stemmed from the COVID-19 pandemic and Russia-Ukraine war. She said this while UN Resident Coordinator to Bangladesh, Gwen Lewis, paid a courtesy call on her at Ganabhavan this morning. Speech writer to the Prime Minister M. Nazrul Islam said during the meeting the issue of MDG and SDG were discussed. Sheikh Hasina said that she was lucky as she had got scope to give input to the MDG and SDG during their formulation. The UN Resident Coordinator highly praised Bangladesh's progress in achieving MDGs and its work to attain the SDGs, alongside ensuring women empowerment and girls' education under the dynamic leadership of the Sheikh Hasina. Gwen Lewis said Bangladesh has to overcome some challenges that include climate change and ensure education and healthcare services to girls and women in the post-COVID-19 situation. The UN had stood by Bangladesh in the past and will remain by its side in future, she said. During the meeting, the Prime Minister sought United Nations assistance to relocate the forcibly displaced Myanmar nationals to the well-developed Bhasanchar. She said that they have sheltered the huge number of Rohingyas in Bangladesh on the humanitarian ground, but they are now becoming a massive burden for Bangladesh. She thanked the UN for extending cooperation to Bangladesh since Rohingyas took shelter in Bangladesh and hoped that they will continue the support. Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister Muhammad Tufazal Hossain Mia was present. The nation is set to observe the Shohid Dibosh and the International Mother Language Day tomorrow with due respect. On February 21st in 1952, Salam, Rafiq, Shafiq, Jabbar and Barkat embraced martyrdom in police firing in front of the Dhaka Medical College and the hospital as they took to the street to intensify the campaign to establish Bangla as the state language of the then Pakistan, sowing the seeds of subsequent movements for the country independence. They were killed as police opened fire on students' demonstration under the All-Party Students' Action Committee against conspiracies of Pakistan rulers to declare Urdu as the only state language. People from all walks of life will pay glowing tribute to the memories of the language movement martyrs, the valiant sons of the soil who made supreme sacrifice to establish the rights of the mother tongue Bangla in 1952. The day will also be observed around the world as the UNESCO recognized the February 21st as the International Mother Language Day on November 17, 1999. The government has already taken extensive programs to observe the day in a befitting manner. President M. Abdul Hamid and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will lead the nation to pay respect to language martyrs by placing wreaths at the Central Shahid Minar besides Dhaka Medical College and Hospital at 1 minute past 0 hour. In observance of the day, the Central Shahid Minar premises has been decorated with paintings, graffiti, buntings and selected rhymes on the mother language. Tight security measures have been enforced around the main altar of the Shahid Minar, its adjoining areas and Ajimpur graveyard of the language martyrs. Different political, social, cultural, professional organizations, including the Awami League, have taken various programs such as seminars and cultural functions to observe the Amor Ekushe in a befitting manner. The countrywide Vitamin A Plus campaign began today with a target to provide the capsule to 2.20 crore children to prevent child mortality rate due to malnutrition and night blindness disease. Following health rules, one blue color capsule is being fed to each of the children aged 6 months to 11 months, while children aged between 12 to 59 months are being fed red color capsule each during the campaign. Health Minister Zahid Malik inaugurated the A Plus campaign in the capital this morning. The campaign will be run at all EPI centers and permanent healthcare centers all over the country, including the capital Dhaka. According to the health policy, a vitamin A Plus capsule is given twice a year as supplementary food to meet the deficiency of the vitamin. Vitamin A Plus capsule can prevent blindness, reduce child mortality by up to 24% and also reduce the risk of death from diarrhea and pneumonia. French ambassador to Bangladesh, Mahri Masdoupi, paid a courtesy call on Bangladesh Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Ubaidul Qadir at Bangladesh Secretariat this morning. During the meeting, they discussed various bilateral issues, friendly relations between the two countries and cooperation. Besides, they discussed unwrapping the cover of a Bengali translated book written by French historian Jean Chehon over the visit of French writer André Malraux and his role in the liberation war of Bangladesh. Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmood has said BNP is a hurdle to democratic norms and rule. The party is always engaged in conspiracies to destroy democracy of the country, he added. The minister said this in response to queries from the journalists after joining a function marking the founding anniversary of Sheikh Russell Jatiyo Shishu Kishor Porishod at Bangabandhu Avenue in Dhaka today.
প্রকৃতপক্ষে মির্জা ফখরুল ইসলাম আলমগীর সাহেবরা গণতন্ত্রকে হত্যা করার অপচেষ্টায় লিপ্ত এবং সেই অপচেষ্টার অংশ হিসাবেই তারা 14 সালের নির্বাচন প্রতিহত করার চেষ্টা চালিয়েছিল। 18 সালের নির্বাচনকে প্রশ্নবিদ্ধ করার সমস্ত প্রচেষ্টা তারা চালিয়েছে। তারা আসলে গণতন্ত্রটাকে হত্যা করতে চায়, তো সেটিকে ঢাকার জন্য নানা ধরনের বক্তব্য রাখে। বিএনপি বাংলাদেশে নিরবিচ্ছিন্নভাবে গণতন্ত্র চর্চার পথে বিএনপি হচ্ছে একটি প্রতিবন্ধক। আর সমস্ত দেশে যেই প্রক্রিয়া নির্বাচন হয় আমাদের দেশেও তাই হবে। তত্ত্বাবধায়ক সরকার শুধু পাকিস্তানে আছে, ওনারা পাকিস্তানকে পছন্দ করেন, তো সেজন্য পাকিস্তানের অনুকরণে বাংলাদেশে তারা চাইলেও কোনো কিছু হবে না।
Secretary General of Sheikh Russell Jatiya Shishu Kishore Porishad K.M. Shahidullah presided over the function. Advisors of Sheikh Russell Jatiya Shishu Kishore Porishad, Shirajul Islam and Mullah Farzana Samad Chaudhary also spoke. Speaking on the occasion, Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood has called upon students to prepare themselves to take the country and society ahead.
লড়াই চালিয়ে যেতে হয় এবং যুদ্ধ চালিয়ে গিয়ে অভিষ্ট লক্ষ্যে পৌঁছাতে হয়। জীবনটাও ঠিক সেরকম, জীবনটাকে যুদ্ধক্ষেত্রের মতো নিতে হবে। সেটি যদি করতে পারো তাহলে তোমরা সবাই সফল হবে। আমি চাই তোমরা সবাই স্বপ্ন দেখো। স্বপ্ন শুধু নিজের জন্য দেখো না, স্বপ্ন দেখো পরিবারের জন্য, স্বপ্ন দেখো সমাজের জন্য, স্বপ্ন দেখো রাষ্ট্রের জন্য। এবং তোমাদের স্বপ্ন বাস্তবায়নের মাধ্যমে রাষ্ট্রের স্বপ্ন বাস্তবায়িত হবে। তোমাদের সফলতার মধ্য দিয়ে রাষ্ট্র সফল হবে, সেটিই আমরা চাই।
The International Crimes Tribunal (ICT) today sentenced 5 persons hailing from Trishal Upojila of Moimenshing to life-term imprisonment for committing crimes against humanity during the country's liberation war in 1971. The convicts are Kondokar Gulam Sabir Ahmed, Mohammad Hormuz Ali, Fakhruzaman Abdus Sattar and Kondokar Gulam Rabbani. A 3-member panel of the ICT-1 headed by Justice Muhammad Shahinur Islam handed down the verdict this morning. Rahima Khatun, widow of a freedom fighter, on 19th May 2015 filed a case against 3 of them for their involvement in crime during in 1971. Now, international news. U.S. President Joe Biden has made a surprise visit to Kyiv, his first to Ukraine since Russia invaded almost a year ago. It comes as the anniversary of Russia's invasion approaches on 24th February. The visit aims at reaffirming United States' unwavering and unflagging commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty and territorial integrity. Biden met Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in the Ukrainian capital on his first visit to the country since the start of the conflict. During the briefing, Biden announced another delivery of critical equipment, including artillery, ammunition, anti-armor systems, and air surveillance radars to help protect the Ukrainian people from aerial bombardments. Biden is due to begin a 3-day visit to Poland later today. Meanwhile, EU foreign minister meeting in Brussels will discuss how to make sure Ukrainian forces have enough ammunition. The European Union's top diplomat has urged the bloc to ensure that Ukraine has enough ammunition to continue its fight against Russia's invasion. According to UK intelligence, Russian forces have sustained very high losses in their assault on the eastern Ukrainian town of Volodya. Moscow's troops have been battling to break through Ukrainian defenses surrounding the town in the Donbas region. Ukraine's President Zelensky has described the situation as very difficult but says we are breaking the invader. North Korea has fired a pair of short-range ballistic missiles off its east coast, according to South Korea's military, 2 days after Pyongyang resumed banned testing activities with an intercontinental ballistic missile launch. South Korea's military said it strongly condemned the 2 launches as an act of significant provocation. They took place from a western coastal town just north of the North Korean capital on Monday morning. North Korea's state media said 2 projectiles were fired from a multiple rocket launcher aiming at targets 395 km and 337 km away respectively. There were no reports of damage to aircraft or vessels. Meanwhile, South Korea's foreign ministry announced new sanctions targeting 4 individuals and 5 entities, including a South African national and 2 Singaporean shipping firms, following Monday's launches. Turkey has ended rescue efforts in all but 2 provinces almost 2 weeks after a massive earthquake killed tens of thousands of people, the country's disaster agency said. Searches will continue in Kahramanmaraş and Hatay, the agency's chief said. However, hopes of finding anyone else alive in the rubble are fading fast. The epicenter of the 7.8 magnitude earthquake on 6 February was in Kahramanmaraş. More than 46,000 people are confirmed to have lost their lives in southeastern Turkey and northern Syria. The death toll is expected to climb, with about 345,000 apartments in Turkey known to have been destroyed and many people still missing. Neither Turkey nor Syria have said how many people are still unaccounted for. Torrential rain has triggered flooding and landslides in coastal areas of Brazil's southeast, killing at least 36 people and displacing hundreds of others. In Sao Paulo, state television and social media footage from the town of São Sebastião showed entire neighborhoods underwater, debris from hillside houses swept away by mud, as well as flooded highways and cars destroyed by fallen trees. Sao Paulo State Governor Tarcísio Freitas declared a state of emergency in 5 towns along the coast. Government said 566 people had been displaced or made homeless. Carnival events were cancelled in São Sebastião, Ubatuba, Ilhabela and Bertioga. Rescue teams have been struggling to reach survivors and unblock roads, he said. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us. We invite you to watch our next news bulletin. Khuda Hafiz.